welcome to or welcome back to Total Spotfest. This is JJ Brownlee. That is Jamie Faulkner. We're coming back at you. I just did sparkle fingers for you online. I don't know why, but we're coming back at you here with another action-packed week of wrestling. We have good news. Jamie took a test last week and got a big old negative on that test. So we made a venture up to Iowa this past Sunday. Went to go see some live wrestling gloriousness at Pro Wrestling Revolver, but all sorts of things going on here. Lots of AEW happening, Impact, some Nazis showing up in wrestling. I'm serious.
Twice.
Twice, yes, and so much more. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We do appreciate it. If you are checking us out on YouTube, please drop a comment down below to join the conversation. While you're down there, you can hit the like button. It does help us out quite a bit. Subscribe if you want to hear more. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast provider, of course, you can get in the conversation by giving us a shout on Twitter at Total Spotfest. There we go. Jamie, how you been, man?
I've been good. I also did take another test last week, and it was a DNA test. It turns out that I'm 100% that bitch. Just want to make sure you guys knew that.
Oh, really? So you and Jade must be related then. Oh my god. Like I thought like maybe they're doubling down with the whole bitch talk with her. It's like, okay, yes, okay.
I know,
all right.
I know. Yeah, we'll talk about that when we talk Dynamite.
we will get into that. So we hope you're staying warm.
Mine was a Lizzo reference though.
It shows how much I can't do nothing on that. I mean I got
hopefully Heather the librarian caught that and appreciates that I pulled out a Lizzo. Because usually it's just pitch perfect. I'm expanding my horizons.
Expanding horizons. See, and my brain's in a different musical mindset. I spent a good half hour today, basically half of my lunch break. I was chatting with one of our coworkers about the While We Were Young festival they're having in the pre-sale starts tomorrow, the 21st, and it's this October in Vegas. It's a one-day show that features My Chemical Romance and Paramore and Taking Back Sunday, and State Champs and Dance Gavin Dance and AFI and the Jimmy Eat World and like 35 other bands. It's just like all this like early 2000s like alternative emo gloriousness. So Lizzo reference right over my head. Sorry, man. Wow, indeed. So let's circle back. Let's talk about some wrestling. How about that?
Let's talk a little wrestling.
Let's talk a little bit about a trip up 35 north to Des Moines, Iowa. I know it's not how it's Des Moines, Iowa.
Yes.
They hate what you said.
The beautiful landscape of Des Moines, Iowa in January with 6 inches of snow, roughly.
Give or take.
Yeah. No, Des Moines was lovely. But we were there for one thing and one thing only. Wrestling Revolver. And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed myself. It's a different type of crowd than what we're used to.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was.
It definitely didn't have the inclusive vibe of like Journey Pro, like, hey, how are you? I'm this person, like very greeting. It was more that traditional wrestling fan. I'm here to yell and scream at people and have a good time.
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to, we'll hang out. People we sat by were cool enough, right?
Yeah, they were.
But yeah,
I mean, you found the sole other Steeler fan.
Other Steeler fan,
place.
Me, 2 Steeler fans in the entire building, like 500-600 people, right? And it's like we just found each other. It's kismet. So
yeah, it was really cool. So COVID and injuries and everything plagued this show. So basically, they only had 2 confirmed matches, and everything else was going to be surprises. Like they were just throwing stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
The main event was a death match, a scaffold and light tube death match between Jake Christ, and Alex Colon, who's like a deathmatch god, I guess. And that match was amazing. I got some videos of it up on our Twitter if you haven't looked at that. That's at Total Spotfest, ladies and gentlemen. Please give us a follow. Appreciate it. It means a lot to us.
They didn't leave a single light tube unbroken. It was so good.
100%.
The scaffold was utilized fantastic. Doors broken. A piece of tube apparently hit Jamie on the arm at one point, and we were about 8 rows back. So
Yeah, like I'm holding up recording, and next thing you know, I feel something hit my arm. I'm like, oh, cool. Like it's exactly how it was. So the only drawback for me at that show was I was still getting over everything, and I still am. So like I couldn't like yell because it hurt. Like it was still like, so I was more the hand clapper guy this time, and I'm more like to be in the chants and going with stuff.
Right. You were in it on the first match, and then after that, you took a steep dive. I think you used all your energy
I'm
from
like,
the go.
whoa, vocal cords don't like this. So yeah, let's talk about the first match. The first match was 100% a brand new match that came out of nowhere. And it was Speedball Mike Bailey, who recently came off of a hard to kill victory.
Newly signed officially signed to Impact Wrestling, Speedball Mike Bailey.
Yes, going against none other than Big Boy Season himself, AC Romero. And as soon as I saw him come out with the Big Boy Season shirt, I'm like, I gotta have that shirt. Obviously, I'm a big boy. I need to have a Big Boy Season shirt. And you know what he didn't have? No shirts. Because he just showed up late and he didn't bring any of his merch. So he just did pictures, which is cool. But yeah,
man.
Excellent match.
I was unsure about Speedball. The hard kill thing was cool and all, but I was like, I don't really know. Seeing him live, he is amazing. He is so good. I'm big Speedball fan now. Big.
He's great. We saw Madman Fulton going against Ninja Mac. That was a unique match. It was cheeky and fun, honestly. More than good. Like if I was like wanting a cheeky and fun match, that had to hit the nail on the head. But yeah, it had some good stuff. The match of the night for me, though, 100% was Jonah versus Brian Cage.
It was.
That match fucked.
That was one of the two matches that was still intact. Luckily, there are 2 marquee matches from the card weren't affected by injuries, travel things, or COVID. Thank God. Because they both, the death match was the death match, but this match here, oh my God. It was amazing the ring was still standing when they were done. Like
they did a superplex. They did all sorts of stuff. The F10, like it had everything. Like it was amazing.
It was full on Swolverine goodness.
Yeah, it was great match, great show. And then they announced their next show, and I want to talk about their next show because
before we get to it, just a couple of little quick highlights of this show here. So, just real quick through. Masha Slamovich was in there. They did a modified thing. She very much isn't keeping a character. I don't get paid by the hour sort of bit in a triple threat, but it looked good. You had Eddie Edwards. They had to kind of retool this match here. It had Eddie Edwards teaming with Chris Sabin versus Warhorse and oh my God, I can't remember the other dude's name.
Marlon Reed.
Myron Reed.
Myron Reed. Yeah, the young,
that was highly
young
entertaining.
Goat.
There was a 4-way match as well that had Andrew Everett, Mini Andre the Giant versus Ace Austin versus Eric Zane
Blake Christian
versus
and
Blake
Christian.
Yeah, and wow, flippy spinny shit central. Blake Christian damn near died in that match too. He took a hard bump. So anyway, that just kind of rounds out the match. Talk about the next show.
So the next show, they announced it. It's going to be April 16th, and it is going to be called Swerve's House.
Yes.
So Swerve, not Scott. It's Richardson now, is his last name. He is going to be there, and also going to be there, just recently announced, Steve Macklin is going to be there. And Lindsay Dorado.
Ooh.
And debuting the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo.
Oh, well, her and Macklin are married. So, but yes,
I've been dying to see her in a wrestling ring, Macklin, because Macklin, he is phenomenal too. So, April 16th, I'm marking on the calendar. As long as Megan doesn't have a tournament, we will be going.
It is a Saturday in the springtime, so it should be a little easier to get to. For us, I don't know how many of you. I know we have people listening from all over the place, and all over the world and all over the country and stuff. But for us, Kansas City is a pretty simple drive. 35 straight up. Right when you get to Des Moines, it's one of the exits, and it's like a mile off there. Like, bam, 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 done. Super simple drive. It's on the west side of Des Moines. It's a really easy venue to get in and out of. Parking is a bit of a bore because of all the snow. But like I said, April should be good. Highly recommend it. The venue is a good venue. Really good, nice clean venue. Bathrooms, they had food and drink set up real nice. Lots of space in there to kind of spread out. Mm-hmm. So please join us. We're making Revolver a reoccurring theme too, because it's not every month. And Sammy and his guys, they put on a great show. It was fantastic. I can't wait to see Swerve and, just like you, Deonna Purrazzo. Yes, please.
And we happened to see a few of our Journey Pro brethren there as well. That was nice to see. We saw like 3 people, 3 groups of people that we typically see at Journey Pro. So that was nice. So I know one thing that
Nick Chen was a referee at this particular show.
And delivered a choke slam, sir. Big Dick Nick. We need to get Big Dick Nick on the show.
We do. He isn't currently, his greatest feud is still with the Howlets. So next time we talk to the Howlets, we're going to have to ask him about that, about Nick giving the choke slam and what their thoughts are on it. So
and speaking of the Howlets, yes, if you guessed it, we did say that the Howlets were going to be out on this past Monday. That did not happen. We had a technical difficulty with the recording, so we are going to go with them again. But I think we're going to try to change it up a little bit at a later date. But we got a few other really, really exciting interviews coming at you guys. Right. So make sure you like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter, because that's where you're going to find all of it. So definitely hit that subscribe button. That helps us out a ton.
Shooting interviews for Tuesdays to be released. We've already got a couple that are being edited and stuff. But keep an eye out. If you really want to know when interviews come out, you can hit the bell icon. If you're on YouTube, it'll give you a quick little, give you a little announcement whenever we release a video. But those will be coming along here. Some really, I'm not lying, some great stuff coming in the near future. So be on the lookout.
Yeah, this isn't that like, hey, Sunday, see Bo Bice's brother. That's right. Brian Bice. Yeah.
No. John Stamos' brother. No. Okay.
Yeah, no. We got some legit stuff coming at you guys. You're
great really stuff. So stay tuned there. No more spoilers for it, though. Check it out. This coming weekend as well, we have more stuff going on because Sunday is GCW's Hammerstein Ballroom show, FYI. And if you've never watched a GCW show, this is the one to buy. Let me just kind of real quickly. Jon Moxley's in-ring return, defending the GCW title against Homicide. You have Jeff Jarrett, yes, that Jeff Jarrett versus Effie. You have Matt Cardona versus Joey Janela, and a very good-looking feud there for that. Briscoe's Open Tag Team Challenge. You've got a 6-way match. You've got a bunch of other stuff. Ruby Soho, hey Ruby, making her GCW debut against Allie Katch. All sorts of good stuff at probably one of my favorite wrestling venues that I've ever seen on TV, never been to, but that I've ever witnessed shows happen at, the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. So this Sunday, check that out if you're interested, even a slight touch in GCW. Buy that sucker on Fight TV. I am. Day before that is Saturday the 22nd. We will be going in South Overland Park to the Camelot Ballroom, not the Hammerstein Ballroom, for Dynamic Wrestling Federation's next show. It's called Dak's Back, which I don't know how I feel about the name there. The main event is, of course, Jeremy Wyatt defending his DWF Championship against Dak Draper. But, it's like, okay, you're building the show around Dak, so we'll see what happens. You've got that. You've got Derek Neal versus Moonshine Mantel. You've got Mike Outlaw versus Mysterious Q. Gil Rogers versus Arjun Singh. That should be fun.
This should be a good one.
Hashtag heel shit the Howlett's going up against the Premier one more time. So that's going to be great.
Which Anaya's got a new shirt out, guys. It looks amazing. Stranger Things themed. Must get. I'm going to order it actually tonight.
There you go. Please. Yeah, support your local wrestlers, goddammit. And then last match they have announced is Technical Difficulties versus Jake Durden and Cutter. Hold on a second here.
Cutter, the whatever. It's some weird name.
The Carver of Cutter's Alley.
Yeah, Carver. We'll call him
Carver. Or Carver. Anyway, if I saw him, I'd probably know him. But card subject to change. That's what's been announced. Tickets are still available for general admission, $25 ahead. Bell is 7:05 is Bell. 6 o'clock doors open. That's off 151st Street in Overland Park, Kansas. Should be a good time here. We actually have not been to a DWF show yet. We had tickets for the first one. Life got in the way. We couldn't make it to it. So it is what it is. And then we missed the second one. So we're interested to see this. It's nice to have a different flavor because we love us some Journey Pro. Don't get us wrong. But, we had a very good time this weekend at Revolver, which is a different feel than Journey Pro, and some other stuff. So wrestling is wrestling. It's kind of good to see similar wrestlers too. See Dak Draper, the Howletts, and Premier, and your favorite Jeremy Wyatt in kind of a different promotion, different kind of feel setup. So it should be a good time. So we'll be there checking it out. If you get nothing going on this Saturday, join us down in Overland Park. All right, you have numbers from the last week, I suppose, correct?
I do. I really do. And there's your Pitch Perfect reference, everybody.
I think I'm just going to set that up every week for that thing because we have to get that in. So,
and if somebody wants me to work in another movie quote of some sort, like name a movie, I'll work in a quote from it. Just do it because I got it in my.
That's a fun game. I want somebody to get like the most random movie possible. Heather, I'm looking at you, or anybody at all.
She is a librarian.
She is a librarian. She could probably get.
To be a movie. Try not books. Like I can do some books, but I will say if you pull anything from the Lord of the Rings, stop now.
If anybody picks Lord of the, have you? Hey man, Lord of the Rings new series announced their title yesterday. Hey,
what was it? Walking. The Walking of the Rings?
It was the Rings of Power. This is the prequel series. It's back to the forging of the rings. You have no idea. You have no care whatsoever.
I actually do. It's just I fun fact, I've read The Hobbit.
Okay. But you never
what they didn't do in the books? Have expansive shots, 20 minutes of people walking in them. In my brain, that never happened. Anyway, we totally digress. All right. Anyway, so
we went down that path. Let's talk numbers. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, let's talk numbers. All right. Well, there was one. There can be only one, I guess. There can be only one. And just like the quickening, there was only one show that went up in ratings. Everybody else took a dip, which was surprising.
It really was, because there wasn't really anything to take away from it.
Yeah. I thought AEW. I thought Dynamite would do well because it was a good show, but it did dip. But Raw, of course, the flagship, the mothership, dipped down to 1.633 from 1.716.
They had been going upward. They got down to 1.5 whatever. They were going up.
Yeah.
So.
NXT is back to their usual number-ish, if you will. They were previously at 685 and they're at 647. And they've been floating right around the 650 range. So
I think
they're right around there.
I think that's the max they're going to get. And I've read some interesting stuff about NXT. Beside the fact that this past week Walter made his long-awaited, US debut. He's officially on the US version now. He's not over there. and he had a match against Roderick Strong, which I surmised was a good match because those two would put on a good match, right?
Yeah.
After and I saw some gifs of it, Chop City, right, and all that good stuff. After the match, he announced him. He said, "9. It's not Walter. It's now the winner is Gunther." And I was like, "Gunther, what is that?" And they look at a quick little Google search will find that WWE trademarked the name Gunther Stark. If you Google that, you will get two results. You will get that WWE trademarking Gunther Stark, and a history lesson in Gunther Stark, the Nazi U-boat commander from World War II. Now, I know there's an umlaut on the U in the U-boat commander, but come the fuck on. Seriously.
But in all seriousness, too, this is not the first time. This is actually the second time WWE has gone down the Nazi path. So, one of our favorites who doesn't get utilized the way he should anymore, Dolph Ziggler, is based off of Adolf Ziggler, or Ziegler, if you will, with a correct spelling of it. And they actually had him originally as Adolf Ziggler, and then it just became Dolph. But so there you go. Fun fact.
I mean, okay. They've since have kind of taken it back a step, and and there's speculation. Maybe he's tied into Zoe Stark somehow. They're going to be brother and sister, but they've roped it back. He's now just Gunther, which is not as bad. We still know that they were going to call him Gunther Stark, Bruce Pritchard. So
and why? So here's the thing: his name was Walter.
Why exactly? That's my question.
He went from Walter to Gunther Stark, really bad. That's like very anti-Semitic, and then now you're back down to Gunther Walter.
What's the point?
I don't know. And shout out to another Walter who's getting the heat about this too at Journey Pro, our boy Walter over there. Like, people are like, "Oh man, like the guy was even amazing with the name Walter," and like.
Walter's a good name, y'all.
Yeah, Walter's like, I mean, I do great with the name Walter.
That's the exact same point that I have as well. It's like, why you didn't need this? This is a needless change. Once again, you're needlessly changing a name, and not for any good reason. You could change a name and improve upon it, or you do different things. But Walter is fine. You go from Walter to Gunther. Why? Whatever. I mean, they could have made him a schoolgirl who found a magic necklace. That's Saray's new gimmick, FYI. I saw a clip and then I read a little article on Wrestling Inc. because I was like, what the F is this? So she took some time back in Japan, and she found this necklace that was gifted from her grandparents and all this stuff, and picks it up and it's a sun, and it starts glowing. And she's got like the wire rim glasses, pigtails, and obvious schoolgirl costume on, and I'm just like, you make Tozawa a very offensive ninja, right? You basically shit on Boa's now. I saw a picture of Boa, what he looks like now. He's wearing a kimono and face paint, so there's that. And you take Saray, who is an absolute stellar wrestler. You bury her anyway, then you kick her off TV for a hot minute, rebrand her as a poor man's Maki Ito, basically. What the fuck? That's NXT 2.0 for you, though. Aren't you glad? So,
I mean, I'm so done. I'm so done with WWE products now. Like I don't even want to talk about them anymore. Like, they don't even deserve the air out of my vocal cords.
So let's move swiftly on and talk about AEW stuff. What's the Dynamite numbers from last week?
So Dynamite they dipped a little, but they did dip, obviously. They were at 1.010 million, and they went under the million mark to 9.69. But I have a feeling that the one that we just saw is definitely going to go up, and there's one big reason. But they brought the thunder on some other stuff too. But yeah, and then again,
9.6 okay. I'm good with that.
Not bad. It's 970,000 basically, like right around there. But the big winner of the week, for the second week in a row.
Love this.
Impact, ladies and gentlemen, they went from 104 to 111, and I will let JJ talk about this because this show kicked ass. Like, I watched it. Like, I full on was glued to it. Not like it was on the background. That shit got me going. I'm like, I can't wait for next week.
Yeah, see, I originally was just going to play in the background just so I could have, know what happened, but then I couldn't stop watching it. It's Fallout from Hard to Kill, and so you had, but the fall was all good. And so you have Morrissey, starting off going up against, kind of yelling at Moose, and that's kind of reoccurring theme, setting up stuff for moving forward. So you got Morrissey still focused on Moose. We don't know Morrissey's contract status. I think it's pretty obvious he's staying with at least short term staying with Impact, but that's fantastic. You had more Ring of Honor takeover stuff, like right from the get. They jumped D'Lo Brown and put him out of commission. So you had Tom. What does he go by now? Tom. I have it written down.
Manahan. Tom.
Hannafan.
Hannafan. Yeah. What's his name? Was like, yeah. Yeah, and then one of the guys, I can't remember who it was, who hopped on the mic, goes, Tom, whatever your new
Brian Myers.
New last name is? Yeah, Brian Myers. Like, hey, whatever your new last name is. It's like, talk about how D'Lo just went through a table, and it's all because he didn't have his chest protector. That's why it's all messed up. I'm like, oh my God.
It was so good. So, I mean, you had that right from the get. So they're going into this. They do a whole thing that it wasn't sanctioned by ROH. These guys are out there. At one point you had Jonathan Gresham, talking about how there was this bit that people don't know. If you haven't watched ROH, there was this big civil war in ROH, the pure people and these, hooligans sort of stuff. And he's all about the pureness of wrestling and gets approached by Steve Maclin. Next week, you're going to have Steve Maclin versus Jonathan Gresham in the Pure Wrestling Rules for the ROH World Title. Give me that every week. God damn it. That's going to be special. Not to say you didn't have good matches. And you had guest announcers on all these because D'Lo was knocked out, right? You had Kris Bay versus Laredo Kid with Trey Miguel on commentary. That was exceptional. It was so goddamn good. You had Speedball Mike Bailey defeating Jake, what's my name, something. In another good match, Ace Austin and Madman Fulton on commentary. You had Masha Slamovich making very short work of Vert Vixen. I love how Masha Slamovich on the Indies has got her hair down, right? As you call her, Russian Rogue. And then on Impact, she has it straight up like Marge Simpson style. It's fan-fucking-tastic.
Oh, yeah, it is like way high, but like when she has it down, she just has that like gray streak, and it's
not like a rogue streak. It's a bigger, but yes.
Yeah, she's the Russian Rogue, man, for sure.
I love her. So as she was leaving after getting her pinfall, in comes Josh Alexander for his promo. They kind of stare at each other. A little head nod by Alexander. I like nice little touches there. He gets interrupted by Charlie Haas, just out of fucking nowhere. Here's Charlie Haas, right?
Yeah.
He's been out of wrestling for 8 years, I think, and he's fighting Alexander next week, apparently. Then you have Moose, who's giving a world title, but not to Morrissey. He's giving it to Zicky Dice, part of Brian Myers' learning tree. Moose comes out still in his dress clothes. Zicky tries the bell rings. Zicky Dice is a fantastic. He's got great comedy in his wrestling. He tries, as soon as the bell rings, a Roman Reigns shotgun Superman punch, which doesn't have any effect on Moose. Moose just then Uranagis him, steps on his chest, 1, 2, 3. But out comes Morrissey, and they get so that's kind of where they're going to go. I think the idea is still to have Alexander be in that line because of what Moose did to him at Bound for Glory. But you have Morrissey in the meantime. Alexander's kind of doing other things, and then he'll get back. More than likely, I would say Slammiversary is when you're going to have the big one. You might have one that gets like disrupted and disturbed in the throwaway ahead of that, but I think Slammiversary is going to be the big Alexander Moose, which set your DVRs, motherfucker. That's going to be something special.
100%.
Jonah had a squash match, and then your main event was Deonna Purrazzo versus Rok-C. It's title versus title. The ROH Women's title versus up against the AAA Reina de Reinas champion. And if you haven't seen Rok-C, you're missing out. She's only 20, but she is a prod. Her nickname is the Prodigy, right? And she's got it. She looks like a young Deonna Purrazzo, right? She's got very similar.
It really does.
Very similar body. They're about the same height, similar body structure, kind of. Similar moveset. It's very much she's got it in her, and this match proved it, and ended with a Venus de Milo, and once again the belt collector is alive and well. Deonna Purrazzo is a champ, Ring of Honor Women's and Reina de Reinas champion again. So. Great episode, and they end with a little more invasion stuff from Ring of Honor, but it was a fantastic episode altogether. Plenty of matches, weren't too long. You had some really good bangers in the middle of them there. You had promos that are setting up a lot of things for the future. Good stuff. It's great. Watch it, guys. It's really worth your while. So that was Impact.
Absolutely.
And then Rampage was in the week, right?
In SmackDown.
Oh, SmackDown. I forget about our lovely blue brand.
you forget about the actual the one, if you will, of WWE. It went down from 2.271 to 2.174, so a cool 100,000.
Yes. Wow.
But for them, that's not a big deal. They're still over 2 mil.
They're over 2 mil. I mean, as much as we hate to say it, it is the most watched wrestling show on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm. And then Rampage did go down, but Rampage was solid too. I mean, it wasn't as solid as previous weeks, but it was still really good. And it went down from 588 to 526.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? To me, there wasn't like anything like really, probably the best. And they tend to open Rampage with a banger, and whether that is because the way they shoot it. Now, this week's Rampage, tomorrow night's Rampage is live. So they're doing a live Rampage tomorrow night. And then we'll talk about the card because it's pretty damn good. But last week's Rampage, they opened with Adam Cole versus Trent Beretta. And that was an excellent match. Other than that, it was fine. Sean Spears, Andrew Everett, who we saw a couple days later in Iowa, like we said. You had a 6-woman tag, kind of furthering the whole Layla Hirsch, Kris Statlander feud thing. And then you had Dark Order, Silver and Reynolds going up against Jurassic Express. Lots of fun spots in that. Good fun match. Still, I gotta say, pound for pound, probably the most enjoyable wrestling show every week is still Rampage. It's an hour. You get at least 3 matches, sometimes 4. They don't do a bunch of different promos in there, just little bits here and there, and you get a lot of great stuff, and usually at least one banger.
It's usually how it goes. That's kind of their formula.
It's a good formula, and still, if
they could be a solid formula.
And if you get $500,000, like we said last week, it's it's on a different time later, but it's half of what Dynamite is, and your goal is to get around $1 million. So if you're getting $500,000 for Rampage, that's winning, right? So whatever.
All right.
You all right there? Your ears are.
No.
Jamie got some new headphones last week, and he's still kind of getting adjusted to it. They look nice.
They do. They're way more comfortable. Like
Sony's?
The other ones were nice. No, they're phonies. They are whatever I got on Amazon for like $40. Like,
Amazon brand, sure, gotcha. I have plenty of those.
Yeah, they've worked great because I liked my Beats that I had, but the thing was that they sat on my ear, and like then they pushed into your ear and all that. Like I need over ear, and the problem is like with most over these ears, they look gargantuan on my head, and the last ones looked stupid big on, and these ones actually look normal. So
the gaming headset was really big. Yeah, like when I'm editing like thumbnails, I gotta cut around your head and cut around this giant, So those look great. They're very good.
About as big as my ego, ladies and gentlemen.
Moving on to Dynamite swiftly.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. When we talk Dynamite, it's pretty simple. We're going to talk promos. we're going to talk a lot about these promos that happened. We're going to talk about a couple matches. We're going to talk about arguably the best entrance I think I've ever seen, and I can't wait to see it more and more. But this show late was about one person only, and he opened the show, and that's Jon Moxley.
Yep.
And he cut an amazing promo. We'll go through the rest of the card here in just a second, but I do want to take a moment.
We gotta give Moxley his due first. Let's focus on Moxley for a second, because we're gonna start off with that anyway. So let's do it.
So Mox comes out and he cuts a killer promo, and it was from the heart and soul. The best thing was like somebody was yelling something. I couldn't pick it up.
At the very beginning, like literally right as he's starting, some chode says some stupid bullshit, something about being an alcoholic. I don't know what it was, and he immediately, and this is literally like I said, 2 minutes into a TV show on TBS, he just goes, "Hey, go fuck yourself. Get his ass out of here."
Yeah, like he dropped an F-bomb on TV, which kind of got me riled up for him. I'm like, yeah, Mox is back, baby.
Back, right?
You don't know what's going to come out of his mouth.
Oh, I loved that. It just you could stop right there. I've been happy because it's like, hi, Mox.
Yeah, and the thing was, like, he talked about the dream of having this demon cloud over him. Obviously, that's alcoholism. Mm-hmm. Like, he did a lot of symbolism in his conversation, and like, he talked about the scars inside you and how people hide them and all this stuff. It's like, and he's like, I'm not afraid anymore. I'm more dangerous than I've ever been. I see it now, more clear and all. I'm like, and he looks great. Like, I cannot say
he's slimmed down a little bit, definitely. And
but his, like, obviously, if you've been around people who drink a lot, they get a little reddish and pinkish, and he was definitely not. Like, somebody put on up on Twitter. I happened to notice, like, they did a shot like a week before he went.
Right.
Yeah, and it took 10 years off of his. He looks 10 years younger. I mean, it's just one of those things. And I love how everybody was behind him, and he talked about that, and he gave a heartfelt thank you for everybody who stood behind him, and then he says, going through hell has been very liberating. He challenges anybody to think that they could challenge him to go through that type of hell, because they're in for a rude awakening. Because now beware, because these days all he drinks is blood. And it was so
great way to end. And he wasn't. I like the fact that he wasn't overt. He didn't come out and go, "Hi, my name's John. I'm alcoholic." Right? We all know why he was at. Everybody knows, right? Everybody knows. It's okay, right? He wasn't so like on the nose, but he was very poignant about it without being. Which is, I think, if he would come out here and been like, all this stuff, my wife and my kid and all these things, and that's not Jon Moxley. That's not who he is, And right. I think it was great. He wasn't posturizing about, I'm back and I'm gonna get the title and blah blah blah. It was a very standalone moment, and it was about him and the positive outlook, and I loved every second of it. I thought it was very well done from the beginning, from him telling the guy on a live mic on national television, "Go fuck yourself," right, to start, to the end, "I'm just here to drink blood," right? That's all I drink. Everything in between was great. So it was fantastic to see him back.
It was great to see him. And yeah, and sobriety is a bitch. I've seen it firsthand. Mm-hmm. So he just needs to keep fighting every day, man. It's super important, for him and his family. So hats off to him, and I hope continued success in fighting his demons for sure.
Absolutely. So, let's go over the card first, and then we'll get into the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. So, we won't talk promos, obviously. The first match of the night was Britt Baker and Adam Cole Bay versus Orange Cassidy and Kris Statlander. We'll get into how good that match was. Spoiler alert, it's Jamie's match of the night. Winners were Cole. Winners were Cole and Britt, but that match.
We're going to come back to this one for sure. Not all of these we're going to come back to, but this one
No. Match 2, kinda. was Shawn Spears versus CM Punk. It lasted, I think, 3 seconds, literally. Like it was a go to sleep and it was over. So I'm sorry I did go over the entire match. I apologize.
That's it. It's done.
CM Punk won. But the afterwards was good. Then we had the House of Black, so Brody King and Malachi Black going against the Varsity Blondes with Julia Hart. She wasn't wearing her varsity jacket, which I noticed.
Right. She also is not getting in the ring with them. This happened as well. If you watch Dark, if anybody hasn't watched Dark, you can go check it out. Just go to this match from earlier this week. It was Dark, not Dark Elevation. So she comes out and they get up to the ring and they go open the ropes for her and she's like, "Meh." And they're like, "No, come in the ring. We'll do the thing where we put your..." And she, nah. She's more interested in just kind of waving at people on the sideline. And she's not really paying attention to the match. She's there, but she's aloof. Slow playing this, but I'm telling you, it's got to happen.
There's going to be a payoff. Yeah.
It's going to be great.
And if you are an idiot and you thought the Varsity Blondes would have won, well, you were wrong. And the House of Black definitely took that one down. Then you actually had a really solid match too. Frankie Kazarian going against Lance Archer. I thought
this was going to be a squash.
Yeah,
exactly. The way they're posting up Archer to be the next title contender, I thought for sure Kazarian's going to get this shit kicked out of him, and he did kind of, but it wasn't in the way I was thinking. It was a very good match.
Yeah, I actually went through a commercial break. So Lance Archer got the W there. Then you had Sky Blue versus Serena Deeb. This
is a better match than I thought too.
Yeah, Sky Blue is great. Like I want Sky Blue needs to be full on AEW all the time. I think she might have already signed or something.
There. If she's not already signed, she's right there. She has her own entrance. They don't come to the ring and she's already there. You know, it's like she has her own entrance. She's been featured. She's part of the storyline now with Sheeta and Deeb. She's been on Dark and she's right there. If she's not signed, she will be shortly.
Yep. Serena Deeb obviously wins that. It prolongs her Woman of 1,000 Holds and the Professor stuff. I just can't wait for she to come out with a Woman of 1,004 Holds.
But you know, but Deeb's character seems to be getting a little bit deeper every time. Like, it was kind of out of nowhere at Double or Nothing last year when she turned heel. Did she just turn heel? We're all like, what the hell? But I don't know. She seems to be getting more depth in her character, is what I feel like.
I agree. We'll talk more when we get into her stuff. And then the main event of the night was Acclaim versus Sting and Darby. And this match was a lot better than I was expecting too. A lot. It was really damn good. It almost got up there to match of the night. This didn't have Canadian Destroyers. Let's be real. But Sting and Darby, of course, ended up getting the W, which sucks because I really want the Acclaim to keep going. I love them. They're just fucking great.
Right. Well, they looked, especially Bowens. But they looked great. They took out Darby before the match. They did it in a great way. So they basically jumped him before the bell rang, of course. So they're beating him up, and they're up on the apron, and they do the chair necktie on Darby and run him into what you would think would be the ring post, right? Well, either it was meant to be like this or it somehow got botched, but the chair actually hit into the turnbuckle and it looked like it legit like cracked his neck back wrong. But it was a good way to kayfabe an injury. He goes out, it's 2-on-1, right? So the Acclaim looked really good, but then Darby, out of fucking nowhere, comes running out and does a flying dive off of the stage over the steps onto them, and you know, it was a much more fun match than I was anticipating. I still don't really get the end game with Sting and Darby though.
I feel like the end game
is just a filler for Darby? Is that just what it is? The end game's for them to go against each other.
Yep. And then Darby to go on his own. Officially.
I kind of like him taking off of the idea of Sting and becoming Dark Darby and, hiding and, I dig that. He's already 2/3 of the way there just by his emo ass in general.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is still just kind of a placeholder more than anything,
Yeah.
Whatever.
No, I agree. So the next thing I want to talk about, because obviously I said promos, right? I want to get into Codelander's promo.
Okay, I was hoping you would. Yeah. Before you do that, real fast, we're just gonna kind of go out. There's a bunch of promos here setting up stuff. They had an Inner Circle promo where they kind of tease, Ortiz and Santana's fallout with Jericho. There was a promo with Jade Cargill. She's being challenged by Anna Jay this coming Friday on Rampage.
Bitch show.
Just keep plugging the bitch stuff out there, sure. There was Roppongi Vice promo.
Yeah, Roppongi Vice. That got excited about Roppongi Vice.
With a T-shirt they were wearing, a Roppongi Vice T-shirt. There's Roppongi Vice out of nowhere. They've been together, but not as Roppongi Vice. But Roppongi Vice versus the Bucks this Friday. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Former IWGP Tag Team Champions. Roppongi Vice.
Junior IWGP Junior Tag Team.
Sorry, Junior.
And then you had interesting and actually Matt Hardy and Andrade. So they formed a partnership where he sold the majority stake in the Hardy family office to Andrade, 51%. Now, he still maintains 3 of the 5 spots on the board of directors, him and Private Party. I think I see where this is going. It's a way for Andrade to phase out Matt and maybe get Matt broken. That's my thought. I know that the Hardy brothers were announced for their first match in like 6 years at some indie show. I can't remember where yesterday. So that's my thought. Anyway, those are the other promos. Talk about Codelander.
All right, so Codelander comes out and it goes right to TV commercial, and he sets up a giant ass ladder. And this promo, I will have to give him mad props. I'm gonna have to, and it makes me not want to hate him, and I don't know how I feel about that. So the people start booing him at the beginning. They are booing the shit out of him. By the end, they are cheering for him. Cody chants are going, everything. Like, he turned the crowd. And I'm like, that is a powerful promo, ladies and gentlemen. And he laid down some serious truths, though.
He run the gamut on this promo, too.
Yeah, and the one thing, too, I want to also point out is his hair. So he has been very much one. Okay, I know. You're like, what?
I'm like, hair. Do you look at hair now? Okay, go ahead.
Well, to Heather the Librarian's minor details about Malachi, I also noticed some minor things about Codelander. So his hair is naturally brown. Right. And he always has it dyed perfectly for every time he's on TV.
Right. Platinum blonde. Every single time, right?
Did you happen to see what color it was?
It was half blonde.
The brown was coming out. Right. Like an
roots.
Evolution.
He had dirty roots.
Yes, like the evolution of Codelander is coming.
Okay.
So I want to call that out.
That's good. I'll keep an eye on his hair from now on. Okay.
It's just a little thing. It's a small thing, right?
They're great at small things, and I could see that from him because he's the type of guy who would do something like that intentionally to signify something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there's that. And one of the big things about his promo, he called out, one person that came in and he talked about how CM Punk, started this revolution with the pipe bomb. And he talked about the pipe bomb. And then he's like, you know what? He never did any of the things he said he was going to do, which is wrestle in New Japan, wrestle in the Ring of Honor, team with the Bucks. And all this stuff he goes, but you know who has? Me. Like he just went off like, I've done it. Like he got everybody jazzed about it. And then like he also he called out a few people.
He went deep in several ways, man. For real.
Yeah, like one of my favorite ones is like, he's like, the forbidden door didn't exist. I built the forbidden door. It's there because of me. Like again, Codelander,
Very
egomaniacal.
Yes.
Very egomaniacal. Like the formations happen. So why I won't turn heel because of this and because of you, and you were there when I needed you most, and all that stuff. And it's like, it's perfect. But one of the best things he was talking about, he talks about the Young Bucks and the Dragons. Like he's watching them and he's like, what the Bucks are trying to start the Wednesday War all over again. We don't want, they don't need to go, as much as the Red Dragons like finish hip toss class. Like I'm like, oh
yeah. He's like, do you really want to see them go up against Developmental 2.0 or something like that? And it's like,
yeah.
Oh
yeah, he would have to. He talked about Ricky Starks going against Jay Lethal. He's like, hey, you gotta watch out for that lethal injection. Talks about Malachi Black, and he mentions other talents, in AEW. He's like, he didn't need anybody, but he brought somebody. And in here in AEW, we don't rename people like Gunther McGillibuddy. I'm like, oh shit, like, just went right after him.
Just going for it. But then he says the balls, the strength and the size and this, and he has the balls to come in and keep his name of Brody.
Yeah.
It's like, that's some
anybody who comes to this company with the name of Brody has to have big balls. And then he's like, and then there's going to be a kid in 8 years who's going to come and test it. Like talking about -1, which I'm like, fuck yeah. Like he got me going on it, but he then, of course, challenged Sammy Guevara for a title unification, as we all expected, at Beach Break in a ladder match. And I'm here for it because I would really like to see Sammy Guevara in a ladder match. I think that could be a marquee match for him. I of course think Cody's going to win, just to be honest with you.
Okay. It makes more sense for me to have Cody win. As much as I love Sammy's going to have a multitude of chances to get that. He'll hold that and other titles many times over.
Yeah, and especially with the ascension of Codelander. This is very Codelander-ish. And for all those, I know I had to give Bird Girl an education on this as well, is the mixture of Homelander from The Boys and Cody becoming one and becoming Codelander. If you've not watched The Boys or read the comics, do yourself a favor. It's not that far, but you know what I mean. But Jesus, this thing looks like it is going to. I think this is going to be the match of the show, except for when Johnny Gargano comes out.
Well, let's talk about the first match of the night here before we get into speculating Gargano. I agree with you everything. There are parts in this promo that I was like, oh shit, Codelander. Like when he started getting all riled up a few times over, I'm like, that's Codelander. That's Codelander. Yeah. And then he brought it back. And he's like, this is the direct opposite of his solved racism by having a baby promo he had last year, right? This was masterful. Cody's always had this ability in him. He was this in Ring of Honor in New Japan, right? He was laying down straight fire on the mic. And he wavered a little bit here and there, which is, hey, it happens, right? But I'm so glad to see that. I've never fully hated the Cody character, even though he wouldn't embrace being a heel or being the tweener. I think he's finally found that niche there, where he's the perfect amount of Codelander to still kind of appease him as being a face, but not really a face. So we'll see. It's going to be a fantastic match.
100%.
Mixed tag match, though, to start the night. Wrestling-wise, that is.
Spotfest to go.
It's everything I wanted. Expected here. You have 4 of the best right now in the business, really. Mm-hmm. And they played a masterful storytelling arc in the match. Britain Britt and Cole quick tagging out, whenever the other person come in at the very beginning. Oh, nope. Oh, it's her. You got to go. You got to get out. Oh, it's him. Oh, you got to get out, and just go on. Talk about what were some of your favorite spots in this match? Because there were so goddamn many. There were so many. The ending by far we were going to get to, but go to it.
Yeah. So let's see. I mean, my three favorite spots are towards the end.
Okay, that's fine. We'll go to it.
So one of my favorites was when Kris Statlander was going for an Area 451 and on Britt, and Cole went over and was like, no, and then she does an Area 451, her 450 splash, which, by the way, is probably one of the most beautiful 450 splashes out there. It is just a thing of beauty. Like, it just looks amazing. Hits it on both of them. It's like, bam! I'm like, oh my god.
So good.
Then later, you had almost stereo Canadian destroyers. So you had Britt hitting Kris Statlander with a Canadian destroyer on the outside on the walkway.
The ramp went straight. The ramp was short this week, and he went straight up to the ring. And Adam Cole was perched on the steps. Was going to do a Panama Sunrise to Cassidy, but then he realized that Statlander's on the ramp, so he turns around and points at her like he's going to do a Panama Sunrise on Statlander on the ramp. And out of fucking nowhere, here comes Britt, who just steps up and does a straight Canadian destroyer on her. And it's like, yes.
It was awesome. And then right after that, Orange Cassidy got the Panama Sunrise, and oh my god, like, it was awesome. Then after that, like, he went, Cole went for the cover 1, 2, got out 2. It's like, what the hell? So then they go to set up a table on the outside. Britt and Adam.
Yeah, they take the timekeeper's table over.
Yeah, so they set that up, and then Britt gets up on the apron as Adam and Orange Cassidy are going at it, and then Orange goes to Superman punch or Orange punch. Adam misses him and then bumps into Britt, who falls through the table, which set Cole off.
Just
his face
snap, just boom. You see his eyes snap.
And then, then he hit him with super kick. Yeah, he low blowed him. He low blowed him.
Then the boom.
Held his head, is yelling at him. Took down his knee pad. Hit the boom. 1, 2, 3. You're winners. But oh my god!
Now a little bit later on, then Tony Schiavone catches up, or some Marvez or whoever interview backstage, right? And he takes the mic and tells him to go pissed off right immediately. And then he's shooting on Cassidy the whole time. And he said, I'm sick of this. We are going to end this. Next week at Beach Break, no disqualification, lights out match, you and me. So next week in Cleveland, Ohio, where the beach of the Erie is wonderful this time of year, you have AEW's Beach Break. But you will have a title unification ladder match and a lights out no DQ match. And okay, now's the time. I think they end, of course, with the lights out, because it's a lights out match. It's got to be at the end of the show, right? And it's going to be redonkulous, right? It's going to be crazy. It's going to be nuts. It's probably going to involve some Red Dragon interference. We know this. There's going to be things going on. And I think Cole gets the win. And afterwards, they start to go after him even more. That's the thing. They're going to go after Cassie even more. I agree with you. He then gets saved by one Mr. Wrestling, Johnny Gargano.
You've came over. You believe it now.
I think it's setting up too nice. The teases that Gargano's putting out there, I just feel like it's in Cleveland. It just feels too perfect for it not to happen. So, but my original thing is, because he was hell bent on not doing anything, and he might have just been kayfabing us the whole time, right? But he was hell bent on not doing anything until the baby was born, and a little bit after that, right? But I think he's going to show up, and he might do a couple promos, the next week, and then, we'll see him in videos, but not a lot until the baby's already born. That's my thought. So,
Yeah.
is that where you were going? Is that the same idea you had for next week, or did you?
Yeah, exactly. I think Red Dragon and the Bucks, like the Super Elite, is going to come out and really get after Orange Cassidy, including Britt, and then of course the Best Friends are going to come out and try to make a save, and they're outnumbered obviously because they don't have the numbers because,
They just don't, right.
yeah, and Roppongi Vice is in a match too, right?
Well, that's this Friday.
That's this Friday.
Wednesday.
Sorry, yeah. So next Wednesday, so they'll be available. But then
We'll see how
Johnny
it plays
Gargano
out.
comes out. Yeah, Johnny's the one who comes out and makes the save.
I think it's Johnny, because you've got instant build up there with Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, and Gargano, who are magic together. And I don't care what anybody says. Oh, it's just rehashing NXT. It's rehashing the best parts of NXT. Bring in Keith Lee after February. Yes, I don't care. That's the part of NXT I'd want to see rehashed. So, sure, great. Let us know.
Exactly.
Do you guys think Johnny Wrestling is going to show up in his hometown next week? This, to me, sounds like the perfect setup for it.
So now that we've got that out of the way, can we talk about arguably the best entrance that we've seen in 2022? Maybe in the past year?
We can't. Oh, one last thing I forgot to mention. I know that some of our female viewers get mad if we don't have a Wardlow segment on the show. There was an MJF and Wardlow promo for his birthday tomorrow, or today, I should say. Last night it was, birthday tomorrow. He apologized to Wardlow. However, he's docking his pay for laying his hands on him, and he gave us a timeline. So at Revolution, they're going to have a grab the brass ring, I think, match for TNT title first contender, something of that nature. He basically is setting this up for Wardlow to win the title and give it to him, which is going to be their fallout.
100%.
FYI. So they're laying some specifics in that. Talk about the entrance now.
Okay. Picture this. Pitch black. Some new music hits. Then there's a light with some fog, and two figures stand there, both wearing masks. One's got antlers, one looks like the guy from Nightbreed. If you've never seen Nightbreed, do yourself a favor. It's one of the best scary masks of all time. Or more looks like the Blades. Yeah, the Blade has one like that. But anyway, there they are. Music is just amazing. Then they make their way into the ring. They take off their mask. Brody King stands up above Malachi Black. And as Malachi takes off his mask, he holds it up to Brody. Brody holds it up above. And then here is Malachi sitting in crisscross applesauce with his arms out. It is one of the most stunning sights of an entrance I have seen. Like the symbolism and the fear it strikes is just unpalatable.
It's fantastic. I don't like the music as much as I like Malachi's solo music.
Oh, I don't either, but it just their walk-in was great.
The walk-in was great. It'd be better if they had a longer ramp.
I agree, and I think that kind of hampered it.
It's arena specific. I get it. It's cool. Whatever. It's going to be different, and that's the cool thing about AEW is that you get differences, but it was great. And they officially are going by their PWG and other tag team name, the Kings of the Black Throne. So I'm so happy for that, too. The match itself was short, but not in a squash way. Not really.
Yeah, I agree. It was just enough.
Yeah, and they're selling a lot about Brody King being big, intimidating, really got in the head of Pillman sort of bit. Julia Hart is kind of floating around the outside. Just kind of there, not really. As I'm saying, there's long playing it more than I like. Now, after the match is where the good stuff happened. So they do their Dante's Inferno, which is the name of their finisher. Fantastic. And then Malachi grabs a microphone, and he gets interrupted by a video.
A really good video.
Tell him about the video, Jamie.
It's none other than the Bastard Pack with his Senshi garb on blindfold. Thank you. On sorry, that's a Mortal Kombat reference for Senshi. But anyway, I know. So he just cuts another one of those promos. He sees Malachi for who he really is, and lots of symbolism there. He had the Justice card again, the tarot card
with the eyes scratched, eyes X'd out on the tarot card. Blind Justice.
Yeah,
he takes the blindfold off, and at the end shows his eyes. He says he's found a new vision. I mean, lots of symbolism thrown in there. If you want to read down below in the comment section, Heather will have already dissected this 10 times better than we could. But it's great. He said he's not going to be. Did you expect me to stand up and like follow you whenever you came clapping? It's not going to happen. It's very good.
So him and it's setting up for him and Penta to go against them, obviously, because there's no Ray. Ray is out for probably 3 months instead of
a year,
way longer. Yeah. So 3 to 5 months is what the return time is, and he'll probably have a sleeve on his elbow for ever. But crazy.
I mean, it'd be very interesting to see what happens with that there. Other things that happen, I mentioned the Hardy bit. Kazarian match we already talked about. Hangman kind of came out after that. It's going to be Hangman and Archer soon for the title. Sure, right? Dan Lambert's involved with that. Dan Lambert's also still involved with the Man of the Year. They had a quick little promo where Ethan Page accepted a challenge. I didn't even realize there was a challenge out there. I think it was more just kind of an open, anybody wants me, come get me challenge Mox threw out there. And Ethan Page probably unwisely accepted that challenge for this Friday night's live Rampage. So Rampage this Friday, you're going to have Ethan Page versus Moxley. You've got Roppongi Vice versus the Young Bucks. You have TBS champion Jade Cargill. I couldn't remember. I keep wanting to say that bitch. You got that bitch versus number 99 Anna Jay. And there's one other match I can't remember, but pretty good. Whenever there's a live Rampage, they put some good shit in there. So that's pretty cool. And then do you want to talk about the main event at all? I mean, we pretty much already have talked about it. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a good match. I mean,
I don't know.
The faces won.
Moxley, to me, it was Moxley, Cody, House of Black. That was the stuff. Well, and then you had Adam Cole stuff too. Cole and Britt. It was really like the first half of Dynamite was the best half. We had all the good stuff happening in the first half.
100%. And I'm really excited for Beach Break now.
I
was on the fence, and now I'm not. I'm not on the fence.
Well, and they've only announced 4 matches for it. So, you have the ladder match for the TNT title unification. You have Lights Out match. You have women's match. They did more stuff with Layla Hirsch, is now feuding with both Red Velvet and Kris Statlander. And even if you don't care that much about them, they're building more than one feud in the women's division. This is what they need to do. Cool. Good. So you're going to have Layla Hirsch versus Red Velvet, and then you've got 6-man tag Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz versus 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. So that's what they've announced for Beach Break. There's probably going to be maybe one more match, because ladder match and a Lights Out match, that's going to eat up a lot of freaking time.
Yeah, they didn't announce Archer and Hangman, did they?
Nope.
I felt like that was just assumed at this point.
I think it is, but I think because you've got a ladder match and a Lights Out match, that you can't throw in that championship match as well.
That's fair.
To me,
that's fair.
Too much. Maybe you've got another trial of MJF with CM Punk going up against somebody. Fuck, I don't know.
FTR, two on one handicap.
Whatever, right? Yeah. Maybe that. Maybe you have something. I don't know. Well, Beach Break's going to be cool. Rampage, I think, is going to be a really good Rampage this week here. And we're not super far out. We're about 3 weeks out from Revolution, I want to say.
Something a little bit longer than that.
It's in March. That's right.
It's in March, yeah.
So about 7 weeks out is okay. Yeah. So good stuff coming here. There's good stuff this weekend, like we said. DWF this Saturday, Overland Park. If you're in the Kansas City area, $25 for tickets. 7:05 bell time, South Overland Park. Come join us. Should be a good time. We hope. We'll let you know. Sunday, go by GCW Hammerstein Ballroom. It's going to be unbelievable. I can't wait for that show. Oh my God. We'll be back next week with kind of what happened on Beach Break, recap the week in wrestling. Looking forward to more Impact stuff as well. I want to see how far we're going to go with this Ring of Honor invasion. Are we going to go full blown? I know that they got Bull Club coming up soon. The Guerrillas of Destiny are going to be on Impact. I'm telling y'all, Impact's got some stuff going on. A lot of people still dog on Impact, and I got it to the most I understood for the most part some of their concerns, but I don't know. 2022 Impact looks fucking bomb. Just telling y'all. All right, you got anything else you want to talk about?
No. I think we got a lot of wrestling in a short amount of time.
All right. Well, as we said before, leave a comment down below. Give us a tweet at Total Spotfest. Like, subscribe, share, all the good things. We will see you next week. Be on the lookout. We'll be announcing as we have interviews coming up here. We should have one next week, early next week, so be on the lookout for that. And then hopefully the week after that, we should have another one. So we're getting to the point where we're starting to stack some up. So hopefully we'll have one every week. But just follow us on Twitter or, follow along on here. Subscribe. Do the bell. You'll know when we get those interviews out here. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We do appreciate you giving us some of your time. Jamie, take us home.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down with Total Spotfest, I have 3 words for you. Welcome back, Mox.
All right, we'll see you next time, guys.
Peace.